Hi, it's Melissa from Creative Frugal Fun. Do you like the idea of entertaining, but you stress about how do I make it happen and is it just going to be too much work? Well, I feel the same way, but I'm doing it this weekend. I have a party in 2 hours, and I'm sitting here making a YouTube video for you because I found some tricks to make it not so stressful. So if you want to know more, stay tuned. Okay, long story short, I'm going to try to make this video as short as possible. My daughter graduated from college with her master's degree, and in lieu of a party, she wanted to have a couple of different dinners with people that had made an impact in her life. So she's got a couple teachers and then a family friend from church. And she wanted to have dinner with them. They don't really know each other, so that meant three separate dinners. And two of those are this weekend. So last night was the first, and then today we have a luncheon. And as I was getting closer to yesterday, I was starting to get the usual stress of, oh my gosh, I've got to clean my house. And we're in a newer house and we don't have as much stuff and it's not as dirty. I did a good cleaning a few weeks ago, but there's always like the, oh my gosh, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. And it's been a long week and I'm tired and whatever. And I was getting a little bit stressed and I woke up yesterday morning grumpy with my family and telling them I was not going to be the only person to clean this house. And they helped me and were great. But we got the house cleaned and I did some shortcuts to make life a little bit easier on me. Now, sometimes you have the money to do the shortcuts and sometimes you don't. And I get that. And one of the shortcuts I kind of wish I hadn't done or I would have done differently, but I'll tell you that in a minute. So, the first thing I would suggest is um, plan your menu, obviously. And for us, I knew that I wasn't sure I would be up. I love to cook, but I wasn't sure I would be up to doing full homemade meals, both vegan and regular, for two parties over the weekend. I have some issues with my foot. I wasn't sure I would be able to handle that, and I didn't want to hurt myself doing it. So we decided for the first night, last night, we would have cordon bleu. We do that at Christmas. We buy them from Costco. They're really good. We would have cordon bleu, and then I would buy a vegan roast that you can get at Walmart or Trader Joe's, and that would be for my husband. And so those two things would take the main part of the meal off of my plate. So we did that. And then I did stuff for salad. So I had a big bowl of spinach, and then I took a platter and I lined up the different toppings that you could put on salad: tomato, mushrooms, cucumbers, radish. Lined up really pretty on a platter. It looked really pretty. And then I had a bowl of cheese and the dressing, and so people could make their own salad. But when I cut up my vegetables yesterday, I cut up what I also needed for today's meal. And I cut up enough that if I needed to replenish that tray for today's meal, I could replenish it and it would look just as fresh and new as it did yesterday. So that was my first tip. Prep once for two times. Um, then I bought store-bought rolls. I can make those easily. I chose not to. It was just one of those time savers for me. And then we decided to have ice cream and cookies. And I bought both of those. So I could have made brownies. I could have made our favorite chocolate cake. I could have done all those things. But I gave myself a little bit of grace and did not do that. So I had the meal yesterday, and that was great. We got a big bag of ice. I'll use some of it today. I'll use some of it last night. Um, we set the table. I bought a nice tablecloth. I made a floral arrangement, which really was a ceramic water pitcher that I went to the Dollar Tree and got four or five stems of flowers and just stuck in there. And it's really cute. Set the table, set it up buffet style, and had dinner last night. And it was great. I'll tell you a couple of tips of things I might have done different, but overall, it was great. And we had dinner, and it was, yeah, there was the pulling everything out to have it ready, and I have a nice big bar to do that. But And there was the cleanup, but it wasn't intense. It was fine. And it was a small enough group. There were just six of us that it was manageable and it was fine. So for today, we're doing the Costco orange chicken, the one that they always carry. We've had that 100 times. And we're doing that. And then I have a vegan orange chicken for my husband from Trader Joe's. And then I'm going to cook up a bunch of vegetables, saute them, and make an Asian sauce. And that will be for anyone who wants to have that. And that's super simple. Maybe someday I'll do a recipe on that, but few key ingredients, you can make a great sauce. And then we'll have rice. And I have pasta from last night that I had cooked. I forgot to mention last night I had mashed potatoes that I did ahead and then warmed up in the crock pot. And then because I have some eaters that don't like mashed potatoes, I did pasta and in the Instapot. And when I did that, I cooked extra, so I would make sure I had enough for today to go with the Asian food. So today we're having pasta and the vegan and the regular orange chicken, the vegetables, the salad bar, and then I'll make a pot of rice. We'll have that as well. I can pull out the rolls if I want, or we have some onion pancakes from Trader Joe's that I can fry up, which are really good and cut up. We could have those too. I haven't decided yet which to do, but super, super simple. And one of the nice perks of all of this, I got my house clean. I'm not stressed today about the party, and we're going to have so much food that we're having grandma and grandpa's over for dinner tonight to help with the leftovers. Could I save them for the week? Yeah, I probably could. I don't know how much would get eaten, but instead I can have them over and they can have a meal too. So I'm hosting 3 times. I had to clean once, prep once. I just throw stuff in the oven. I'm good. So I hope that that helps you. One tip I would give you if you're going to do the prepared things, we've done the cordon bleu for Christmas for a couple of years now, and I've always gotten it at Costco. And I bought this batch at Sam's, and it was a different brand, and it wasn't as good. So I would suggest if you're going to do something that's prepared, that you try it ahead to make sure it's the quality that you want. That was a little surprising for me when I sat down to have it and it just was, well, when I pulled it out of the package and it didn't look the same. And then when I cut into it and I had to get really into it to get even to some cheese or anything. So make sure if you're buying from a deli, a bakery, whatnot, that you've tried whatever it is you're doing beforehand. The other tip I would give you, and I wasn't really thinking when I did this, my cordon bleus were ready before my pasta. And so we're waiting a few minutes for the pasta to finish cooking. And I didn't want to leave the cordon bleus in a hot oven, so I turned the oven off and left them there. And when you turn it off, the heat's immediately gone. So by the time we did have them, they were not as hot as I would have liked. So I do think that if you're going to have to keep something warm, duh, you need some heat on in the oven, the lowest heat possible, but you need something. And I wouldn't keep it in there forever because it could totally overcook it. But just a thought on that. So I hope that those tips help you. I hope you're doing well. Don't be afraid to entertain. Remember, I prepped once, I cleaned once, and I even tried to invite a friend over this morning. Um, Instead of doing these videos, just because I was like, the house is clean. I feel good having someone come over. That would have been 4 people, 4 different groups I would have had over today. But I promise you, if you can just get it together to feel like, and even if you can't, it's so important to have community and social. So I hope that you will try. I hope that you will consider maybe doing back to back or maybe doing something on a Saturday and then a ladies' lunch on a Tuesday or something like that because it really is rewarding to have people over and to spend time with them and in your own home to do that. So I hope this is helpful. I hope all is well with you and make it a great day. Thanks. Bye.